Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And today, finally, after 7 long days, we have another Ripple v SEC lawsuit update. So sit tight and enjoy, as it's about to be really interesting, and we haven't had any of this action in a week. Now, SEC just announced intention to file on Thursday, June 24th, 2021, a letter motion to quash a deposition subpoena served by Ripple on a former SEC official. Briefing schedule below. So we got two things to kind of not waste your time. First of all, the SEC does not want Ripple to investigate a certain thing, and there's a little bit of a overview, or I guess summary of dates given below. So the letter starts out as normal. Dear Judge Nedburn, plaintiff SEC respectfully requests the court's approval of a briefing size and schedule with defendant's consent for purposes of a discovery dispute on which the parties have reached an impasse, which basically means Ripple and the SEC come together every so often, and on this specific part, they could not come to a conclusion or agreement on their own and need the judge interference. The SEC intends to file a motion to quash a deposition subpoena served by Ripple, motion on a former SEC official. So from this little part right here, we are assuming that what they are referring to is the subpoena, deposition subpoena, or basically the request that Ripple has done to investigate Jay Clayton and the company behind him. I'm assuming from this perspective now that that's what they are trying to file a motion against, because they don't want it. The parties have agreed to the following briefing size and schedule with respect to the motion. So on June 24th, the SEC would file the letter motion not to exceed 8 pages. On July 1st, defendants would oppose the SEC's motion in a letter brief not to exceed 8 pages. And on July 8th, the SEC would file its reply in further support of the motion in a letter brief not to exceed 4 pages. So easiest thing in the world, I guess, is just the SEC is now going to put up an 8-page document explaining why they don't want Ripple to investigate into Jay Clayton, and most likely just say it's not relevant to the case. An opinion of an SEC official does not reflect the official SEC stance, and neither does it really back anything that Ripple has been searching for. It's just kind of the usual stuff. Now, Ripple's side, of course, is going to defend and most likely explain, well, it will help with our quote-unquote fair notice. It will help with our conclusion because, again, the SEC also has to give XRP, Bitcoin, and Ether documents, and this might help towards that as well. And they most likely have quite a lot of points explaining why it is very relevant that they want to have this info, because in the end, they got granted this information anyway. I mean, the judge earlier explained that Ripple has the right to all this info, so I don't think this is really going to work too well from the SEC's perspective. And then a couple of days later, as I just said, the SEC can try their luck again. The SEC respectfully requests that the court approve the foregoing briefing size and schedule, which will permit the court to fully consider the factual basis and legal issues raised in the motion. So we shall see, we shall see. Now, James Phelan actually replied and said, this means that Ripple wants to question under oath deposition a former SEC official. The SEC objects to that deposition, and the parties could not work out the differences, and they want MJ Netburn to decide if it will happen. We don't know who the former SEC official is just quite yet. I'm saying, again, Jay Clayton, because there was already a little bit of a fuss about him, but in the end, guys, it could be anybody. It could be William Hinman. It could literally be anybody from the SEC, as we're just talking about Ripple wanting to investigate or question, again, as I said here, under oath, a SEC official, but then a former one. So it's not Gary Gensler. It's going to be one who is not working there anymore, I'm assuming. Then again, it could also be a person that's not really mentioned in the public too often, because theoretically speaking, it could be that it's in Ripple's best interest to just kind of ask a person within the SEC who is not involved with this case, but has been involved with, for example, one of the prior SEC v crypto cases, to explain potentially if she had any or he had any expectation of XRP throughout this whole debacle, if you know what I mean, or if she or he thinks anything of XRP throughout this journey. You know what I mean? Like, just ask a couple of questions regarding it. But then again, I'm not sure. They could be asking anything. It is not for the public to see here. There's this little document which I found pretty funny. Adam actually shared something, and we want people to enjoy it. It says, okay. It says, I'm going all over the place. It is well documented that a hedge fund named One River Digital Asset Management made $1 billion bet on Bitcoin and Ether after Clayton's SEC declared they are not securities. Soon after, Clayton filed the SEC lawsuit against Ripple that crashed the value of the leading non-mine token, XRP, alleging that it has been an unregistered security for 7 years. Weeks later, One River hired Jay Clayton to a senior position at the hedge fund, and Hinman is now back at Simpson Thacher. Now, China has rolled out its own sovereign digital currency, the digital yuan, a means by which it intends to use to gain a competitive advantage over Western crypto innovators like Ripple. It was activated on Alipay in May, while Ripple battled the SEC lawsuit in the Southern District of New York. Little fun fact, Alipay, WePay, and the banks of China actually made an anti-Bitcoin alliance a couple of days ago. But the only thing, I guess, to be interested in is just the connections that people are making. Why? Well, look at this here as well. Trump's SEC nominee, which was Jay Clayton, was Alibaba IPO advisor. Well, the connections of anti-Bitcoin, but then again also really pro-Bitcoin, and then again also really anti-crypto, but then kind of pro-crypto, it's starting to get kind of weird. Specifically, Jay Clayton is one of the most interesting individuals to investigate or question, purely for the question of whether or not he had double motives, because Gary Gensler, who, in my opinion, is not a really kind of money-hungry type of guy, he could be a career type of guy, but the way that we've seen Gary Gensler right now, he looks more to be career-driven or passion-driven by also being, for example, a teacher at MIT or something along those lines, or at least gave some talks over at MIT. I see him different than Jay Clayton, where Jay Clayton, for example, worked for at least advisors before and really is busy with both sides of crypto. And Gary Gensler just gave his opinion like, hey, Bitcoin, my opinion, not really a security. Ethereum most likely is security, and we think we should regulate them properly. Jay Clayton being all over the place and just kind of going with the flow, because it's really difficult to say exactly what his opinion was on these things. And in the end, the SEC has claimed now that their opinions of official members don't really matter. Whatever they let go to the public, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't take that to heart. It's just their own opinion. Again, it cannot be used in court, which to a certain degree should be right. On a different degree, if the SEC members who, again, regulate this entire space don't even know, then how are we supposed to know? Conclusion, building and making, is that I firmly believe that there might have been some more thoughts and some more bias in Jay Clayton's decision to regulate things. And I do also sometimes wonder if Jay Clayton really also did not think that Ethereum was a security because of Gary Gensler. I mean, just looking at Gary Gensler now, him being so open and vocal about Ethereum most likely being a security at one point or another. But then again, Jay Clayton, with again, really noticeable bias, really claiming quickly that it wasn't. It's such a strange debacle, and I can't really make my mind up about it all. Then I saw Hiccup tweet as a reply to James. This was issued on the 11th of June. This is actually something else, but you'll see in just a second here. Let's actually quickly read that. Here's the SEC opposition to Ripple's motion to compel. So the SEC did not want Ripple to get some documents from the SEC. The SEC has filed its response to Ripple's motion to compel the SEC to turn over internal Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP documents. Judge Netburn has already told them twice to turn over. Hiccup said this was issued on the 11th of June, stating the SEC would release relevant documents about Ether, Bitcoin, and XRP on the 18th. It is now the 21st, now actually the 22nd, and still we have no document or response from the judge. Is there something I am missing? When will there be a repercussion for non-compliance? And that is actually a question that I kind of have too. It's like, why does it not become really a big public deal? However, one of the things I stated out on the channel before is that if they were handed over some documents, who would make it public and why? Because think about it. All that we see are documents issued to the judge. Everything that the judge needs to see, we see. But if Ripple and the SEC are handing over documents to each other, we don't really get to see that unless there's a motion about it where it's like, Ripple, for example, saying, hey, we are still missing 10,000 documents, hand them over. But the exact documents they're handing over, we don't get to see, nor does anybody confirm that they've gotten them. And that's actually one of the things James said here as well. The public doesn't see those docs, at least not yet. That's when SEC is supposed to turn them over to Ripple, but the documents aren't public. So we don't know if they compelled or not. If Ripple seeks assistance from the court to get them, we will know they didn't comply, which basically means if Ripple one of these days comes out and says, hey, SEC, you haven't handed over your documents, do it now, then we'll get to see at least something. But as of this point, it's all done behind closed doors. And again, that's usually how a court case goes anyway. I mean, again, kind of look back at the dates here. A lot of these dates are just when the SEC is supposed to hand some stuff over. That does not mean we'll actually get to see them. It means that Ripple should get to see them. If they don't comply, it will go through the court. And make sure you understand that the judge still has a couple of decisions to make. The motion to intervene, the SEC's motion to strike Ripple's lack of due process and fair notice defense, the individual defendant's motion to dismiss, and Ripple's motion to compel the turnover of SEC's internal trading policies, or aka documents. The judge still has to rule on all of them. She hasn't done that yet. We are eagerly waiting, but it's really kind of a filled month, I guess, because I'm assuming she's not going to take too long on all of those, right? Like, why would she? Then again, I already expected her to let go of a couple of statements throughout the last week, and I'm just excited we have one more piece of lawsuit news so it doesn't fall dead or flat. But let us wait, let us see. More info is most likely going to be coming pretty soon here, and I'll update you guys as I find more. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these updates, and take care.